Caracas, 2019. A desperate father walks into a pharmacy clutching a heavy gold chain worth $600 for his laundry cleaner. He's begging for amoxicillin to save his daughter from a raging tooth infection. The pharmacist shakes his head not because the gold is fake, but because there's zero amoxicillin left in the entire district. 3 blocks away, a mother trades a bottle of cheap rum for a 10-day course of the same drug. The rum cost her $2 before the collapse. That bottle just bought what gold couldn't. On a Tuesday afternoon, in a nation sitting atop the world's largest proven oil reserves, the ultimate crisis asset wasn't shiny metal. It was something you could actually use. Most people still believe gold is the final backstop when society unravels. It's an excellent store of value in normal times. But in a real systemic collapse, when supply chains shatter, pharmacies go dark, and trust evaporates, gold has a fatal flaw. You can't drink it, disinfect a wound with it, or plant it to grow food. History shows a clear pattern. In Weimar Germany, Argentina 2001, Venezuela. And beyond, 3 everyday items consistently outperformed precious metals in barter value. One of them you can buy today at your local pet store for under $5. Let's start with the barter king that has funded revolutions, greased black markets, and kept more people alive than any government handout. Sign 1. Hard spirits. Berlin, winter 1923. The German mark is dead 4.2 trillion to $1. Farmers refuse paper, money outright. In bombed-out alleys and freezing apartments, one item moves faster than anything: cheap. High-proof grain alcohol, portable, divisible. It doesn't spoil. You can pour exactly what a deal needs, but its real power goes far beyond drinking. It's an anesthetic without dentists, a disinfectant without iodine, a meat preservative without refrigeration, a fire starter, and a solvent. Most importantly, it's a social lubricant. In a world of strangers, sharing a drink builds just enough trust to close a trade that would otherwise collapse. Bundesarchiv records confirm it. During hyperinflation, spirits and cigarettes became the informal pricing benchmark. Farmers who rejected wheelbarrows of worthless marks happily traded eggs for a bottle of schnapps. Fast forward to Argentina's 2000 to meltdown. Banks froze accounts, the peso crashed, and millions joined true barter clubs. Researchers found that alcohol, coffee, and tobacco often traded at multiples of their pre-crisis value. A bottle of Fernet could secure food that money could no longer buy. Why, in a joyless world of rice and beans, small comforts command an emotional premium gold never will. Venezuela's collapse told the same story. As the bolivar imploded and the economy shrank over 75%, rum and aguardiente became top-tier barter goods. A liter that once cost pennies bought goods worth far more because it could disinfect wounds, preserve food, seal deals, or simply remind people they were still human. The math is brutal. A $10 bottle of vodka today lasts indefinitely if stored right. In crisis, it delivers 6 utilities at once. Gold delivers one. It sits there looking expensive. When you're facing a shotgun-wielding farmer who wants nothing to do with your coins, the bottle wins every time. Sign 2. Antibiotics. This one should keep you up at night. In a normal society, a tooth infection is a quick $5 prescription. In collapse, it can kill you, spreading to your bloodstream, heart, or brain, just like it did for centuries before 1928. Venezuela's pharmaceutical system fractured. Between 2016 and 2019, Schuld agit 85% plus for essential drugs. Hospitals ran dry. People died from routine bacterial infections we thought we'd conquered. Mothers drove hours hunting one course of amoxicillin. Untreated abscesses turned deadly. Intat vacuum, Enimoxor, veterinary versions with identical active ingredients possessed godlike leverage. More valuable than food you can scavenge or grow some, water you can filter it, or gold can't stop sepsis in 72 hours. Academic studies on siege economies and barter under crisis confirm. Medical supplies sit at the top of the hierarchy above ammo, fuel, or metals because they solve an existential problem with no substitutes. Here's the practical edge most miss in the US and similar countries: broad-spectrum antibiotics like amoxicillin, fish mox, cephalexin, fish flex, and ciprofloxacin, fish flox are sold over the counter as aquarium or livestock meds. Same molecular makeup, often identical capsules, manufactured in FDA-inspected facilities. $8, $20 per course, no prescription needed. Not medical advice misuse breeds resistance and risks harm, but the barter economics are undeniable. In collapses from Venezuela to Lebanon to Zimbabwe, a small stockpile of antibiotics traded for multiples of its cost because one course could literally save a life when nothing else could. Spirits and antibiotics are powerful, but they're consumable. Once traded or used, they're gone. What if there was an item that didn't just hold value, but multiplied it? Sign 3. Heirloom seeds. Argentina, 2002 peso de pegs frozen al temps. In the troop clubs, small packets of tomato, bean, or squash seeds traded at absurd premiums of 40 centavo packet, fetching the equivalent of $15 to $20 in goods. Why? Because one packet isn't just food once, it's renewable wealth. Heirloom, open-pollinated, seeds produce plants that yield pounds of produce and seeds. You can save for next season forever. No annual repurchase required. Hybrid said, "They're designed for one season only, great when stores are open, useless when they're not." Heirloom varieties are self-replicating survival. World Bank studies on Argentina showed the barter hierarchy evolving. Short-term needs food. Medicine gave way to long-term security as crises dragged on. Seeds crossed that inflection point because they turned sunlight, water, and soil into calories indefinitely. Gold can't photosynthesize. A farmer with full pockets of coins but empty fields still starves. In Venezuela, urban families who planted small balcony gardens with the right varieties gained real leverage surplus to trade. Better food security and independence from broken supply chains. Gold protects you on day one. Alcohol helps in week one. Antibiotics in month one. Heirloom seeds protect you in year one and every year after. Historical collapses don't last weeks. They stretch into years. The longer it goes, the more seeds dominate. So where does this leave us? Across Weimar, Argentina, Venezuela, and beyond, the pattern is consistent. In genuine systemic failure, the highest barter premiums go to items addressing raw human needs. Comfort, health, renewable calories that gold simply cannot touch. Gold excels at preserving wealth between crises. But when pharmacies empty and shelves stay bare, It sits heavy and useless while a bottle of rum, a course of antibiotics, or a packet of seeds changes everything. Real preparation isn't about the most expensive asset. It's about the most useful ones. For roughly $100 today, you could split between a case of decent spirits, a modest antibiotic stockpile, and 50 packets of quality heirloom vegetable seeds, and gain far more practical resilience than the same amount in bullion. The survivors of every collapsed empire weren't those who hoarded the most symbols of wealth. They were the ones who secured water, medicine, calories, warmth, and community when the systems went silent. Fiat currencies averaged just 27 years off life. Global debt exceeds $100 trillion. Central banks are repeating experiments that destroyed Rome, Weimar, and Zimbabwe. The pattern isn't hypothetical, it's historical fact. The question isn't if another shock arrives. It's whether you'll be holding inert metal, dot, or the items that actually keep people alive and let you name your price. If this shifted how you think about true crisis resilience, hit subscribe. We dig into the financial realities institutions won't publish and textbooks won't teach. See you in the next one.